go. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
1970 was the year my dad, a Boise firefighter, started sunburst painting as a side gig. His dedication and love for this community was always inspiring to me. That passion led me to start rowpaint.com, turning what began as his side job into a family business that's been serving Boise for generations. For over 60 years in the Treasure Valley, the Rowe family name has been synonymous with hard work, dedication, and commitment to the community that's given us so much. We are a family-owned business who are proud to be sponsors of Boise State Athletics, to serve not only Boise, but our neighbors across Idaho and the surrounding states. From my father's first brushstroke to numerous paint and coatings projects today, we're here to make Boise a better place, one project at a time. Power in people, pride in painting.
It's game day. Are you ready?
Let's go!
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, RovePaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jacksons, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bousher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course. It's time for the Jacksons Postgame Show on Bronco Nation News. We're breaking down the game with highlights, interviews, analysis, and most importantly, you. Give your thoughts on the game in the ICCU YouTube chat, and we'll include the best ones on the show. Or leave us a message on the Signature Roofing voicemail line at speakpipe.com/BNN. The BNN Postgame Show is presented by Jacksons, where 25 cents from each hot dog sold goes directly to the Horseshoe Collective to support Boise State student athletes. Need snacks, a coffee, or cold drink? Visit a Treasure Valley Jacksons today. The title sponsor of Bronco Nation News is RovePaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. For all your painting needs, check out RovePaint.com. Now, let's go courtside and join five-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, B.J. Rains, for the Jacksons Postgame Show.
David Buchanan, the one-handed slam as Boise State tonight. Abe Jackson gets back in the win column, 66-56 over Nevada, and defense much better, and offense did enough, and they I don't want to say grind out a win, but get a nice win.
Well, I think this was the type of win they needed, and that I think felt good after that week that they had. You know, it always feels good to, shoot 60% and blow a team out by, 20 or 25 points. But I don't know if that's the type of game this team needed. I mean, this was a tough win. It was a grind out win. You had to get some defensive stops.
I'm good.
You good there, man?
Go ahead, man. I'm good.
You had to get some defensive stops. I mean, they kept Nevada from 9-13 all second half. They came out hot. They hit their first 3 out of 6 threes in about the first 2.5 minutes of the second half. Then Nevada didn't get within, I think they got within 9, maybe 8, I think only 9 in the second half. So I think it was the perfect type of game that this team needed after the Colorado State game.
And it was we talked about Javen Buchanan. He didn't start, but he ended up playing 30 minutes. 19 points. We're going to hear from Steve Alford in a little bit. When I talked to him, he said, hey, they recruited him. They knew he was a good player, and he obviously stepped up and played well tonight. And he was one of the guys that, got the extra minutes and stayed out of foul trouble and took advantage of it.
And not just 19 points, but well over 50% shooting, 7 out of 12. So a nice job. And then something that Coach Rice talked to Bob and I on the radio was that he did a nice job of staying out of foul trouble, because that was the reason that he wasn't getting a lot of minutes. And when you're in foul trouble, it's so hard to get into a rhythm, because it feels off. You're picking up fouls, you're going and sitting, you're coming back. Only one foul on Buchanan. He just had a great game. And that play that you showed to lead off this post-game show, I think that was the best play of the game for the Broncos. Everybody touched the ball, and then it ended in the dunk for Buchanan.
We'll show it again here, because it was like you said, around the world there with the ball moving, get it to him, and then the spin baseline, the one-handed slam.
Well, and the ball moved so quickly around the three-point line that when it got to Buchanan in the post, there you couldn't throw a double team on him, because Nevada was chasing the ball the entire time. So a great job whipping the ball around, and then a one-on-one with Buchanan against the post player, I think against Foster, and just spun right off of him and then dunked. That definitely offensive play of the game.
No doubt about it. Good to see his dad, Papa Buchanan, in the chat again. Appreciate John for checking in late night there in Indiana. What is it? 1 o'clock in the morning, I guess, East Coast time there. But always appreciate Mr. Buchanan for jumping in, and he took advantage of his minutes. And I know it's not who starts the first 3 minutes, like you said. It's who finishes and who plays the 30 minutes. But it was Ugbo got his 2 or 3 minutes, and then he was out of there. And obviously Buchanan made a big impact, and we'll see if they continue to play that format. I mean, does it matter to you? Do you think it matters to him whether he plays the first 3 minutes or not? Just kind of interesting, I guess, how you can handle it.
I haven't asked him that question, but my guess would be that it doesn't matter. I mean, you're a guy like Buchanan who gets in there for 30 minutes. You have a great game. You're productive. You're improving. You're doing things the coaches are asking you to do, especially on the defensive end. I mean, he got starter minutes, and he came in, a minute and a half into the game,
2 minutes, maybe 2
minutes into the game. So I think, again, I haven't asked him, but I would guess that he's fine in the role, especially if he gets 30 minutes, 7 out of 12 for 19 points.
Cardenas gets his 18 points. Degenhardt has 17, but then you have 6 from Meadow, 3 from Bowie and Stanley, and that is it in terms of the scoring. Only 6 guys score, only 9 see the court tonight, and you had Ugbo only getting 8 minutes and Stanley only getting 8 minutes. Carmichael got 11, so RJ Keene 30 minutes tonight and didn't score, but did have 10 rebounds. I believe Jay Tuss had the stat on Twitter that he's the first player in the Leon Rice era to play at least 25 minutes and not even attempt a shot. But he had 10 rebounds and a couple steals and an assist. And I mean, I saw a couple people in the chat basically saying that they were, wrong, I guess, for because when we announced, you were already gone. We announced that Keene was starting. There were some fans in the chat going like, "What are we doing here?" And,
sure.
And he showed tonight, even though it may not show up in the stat sheet in terms of points. When he's feeling it, he can provide a lot to a team.
He can, and he's doing exactly what's asked of him. I mean, he's asked to create some havoc, to play defense, and to create extra possessions. He had 10 rebounds, and I think on the first half, he might have had 3 or 4 offensive rebounds that kept possessions alive. And so he's doing exactly what's asked of him. I like watching him out there and play. Kind of an unorthodox looking guy running around there, especially with the mask on now. But Keene with a great play, great job. And they had the starting lineup of what they thought was statistically their best defenders, and Nevada shot under 30% in the first half.
Oh, they had 1 point and no field goals like in the first 7 minutes of the game.
Now the Broncos weren't lighting it up, but you start guys who were your best defenders statistically, and they gave you exactly what you wanted. And so there was a great defensive effort. You hold them into the 50s, and you get a double-digit win. I thought it was a perfect game at the perfect time that the Broncos needed.
Well, as Jordan says here, this is the BJ and the Babe show here on the Postgame Show. Abe Jackson, appreciate you for sticking around, by the way, even though I know you had to sit around for a little while. But, people are giving RJ some love here. Keene is a hustle player, does everything right. Called RJ a dark horse the whole season. Love him. It's funny. He did go in one game from, maybe being the guy that some folks said shouldn't play, and now he's probably earned 30 minutes in the next game as well. And you mentioned the defense, though. Like I said, they had 1 point and they had 7, in the first 7 minutes of the game, no field goals. But you look up, and I think at one point, then it was a quick shot or two, and all of a sudden it's 8-7, and you're like, man, Boise State should probably be up by more than this right now, because I think Boise State started 2 of 10 from the field themselves. But, this looked more like some of those games in the past where Boise State would slug it out with you and win a lower scoring game, and they'd be perfectly fine doing that. And just in the second half there, they kind of kept them at arm's length the whole half. And I thought the defense really fueled things, and that's got to be encouraging for Burns and everybody, because that was obviously the main focus coming into tonight.
Yeah, and I think this was a classic conference game against Nevada, and Nevada's struggling this year. And one way that you can maybe kind of combat a team that's struggling, or maybe a team that is projected much better than you, is to slow it down and to be physical and try and kind of muck up the game a little bit. And Nevada did that. It wasn't a high-scoring game, but what I really liked is that the Broncos had a lead in the second half, and it stayed there. 13 points, down to 9, back to 11, down to 10, up to 12, down to 10, back to 13. You never really felt like the Broncos weren't in control pretty much that whole second half.
I'm not going to lie. I thought I was watching kind of one of those shows where they show a last-second shot, and there's some guy in the crowd that, you could tell had the over-under, had something because he cheers. There was 2 guys sitting in the second row over here, and they came over at halftime and told me that they had Tyson Degenhart over 18.5 points. And he finished with 17. But there were a couple of shots late in the game where we had a perfect view of him shooting, and they were sitting right in front of us, where there was a 3-pointer Tyson took, and Boise State's up 12 with 2 minutes left. The game's not in doubt, and Tyson shoots a 3, and the guy's like, out of his chair going crazy. That was the enjoyment I needed in the second half. I'm sorry for the guys that didn't end up, getting their winning bet there, but you never know what you're going to see in the crowd. And those guys I don't know why I thought of that, but I was chuckling at them getting into the game and the points. Boise State, though, they were favored at Ken Palm by 7. And they win by 10. So, sure. I mean, they do what they were supposed to do. They cover the spread, all that stuff. And at this point, they don't all have to be super pretty.
No.
You just have to find a way to get some momentum and get a win. And we said this was a 4-game stretch where you had a chance to go 4-0 here, and they started out 1-0.
Well, and how about this? You have this 4-game stretch for the Broncos where they're going to be favored in probably maybe at UNLV. That could be a little bit of a toss-up on the numbers, but they could be favored in 4 games in a row. And then you look at the third-place team, Colorado State, and only 2 losses. Here's their next 3 games. They are at New Mexico, San Diego State at home, and then at Utah State. So there could be a huge swing in the next 3 or 4 games from who's in third place to who's in 6th place over the next week and a half.
Well, you look at Ken Palm right now, Boise State projected to win 8 of their 10 remaining games, and one of the losses at Nevada, they're only projected to lose by 1 point. At San Diego State, their other loss, they're projected to lose by 5 points. They still do have in the aggregate, if you just put the percentages together, 3 more losses, 7-3 in the next 10 games, which, based on where it was coming into this game, if you just said you're going to finish, third with 8-3 in the final 11, a lot of fans probably would have taken that. But I mean, the metrics still think Boise State has a chance to win a lot of games here down the stretch. And I still think Omar Stanley, though, needs to be, he only played 8 minutes tonight. That team, I think Nathan might have said it, and I agree with him. That team can win, this game, but if this team wants to win the Mountain West tournament or go on a run, I don't know if the formula we saw tonight is 100%. I don't know if Omar Stanley can play 8 minutes a game the rest of the way. I still think they need guys like him to become key parts of this team.
Well, and I think the only 2 guys, maybe 3 with Buchanan, how he's playing the last few games, that you can ride into playing heavy minutes every single game is Cardenas, Degenhart, and probably Buchanan now a little bit.
Yep.
Other than that, I mean, it's going to be a toss-up. Meadow might get 12 minutes. He might get 25. Ugbo, you might see get into the 20s sometime. And then you'll see Stanley. He might come off and have a 22 to 28-minute game. So I think those are only 3 guys that you can say are really going to get their minutes. And then everybody else is just going to be what are the matchups and how they playing in this game.
But, I mean, those 3 guys combined for 57 of the 66.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, they had big games.
They did. But, I mean, I still think – look, big picture here. I'm not sure you can have, those 3 guys and then literally pretty much next to nothing the rest of the rest.
No, you're gonna need it, and you're not gonna have that. I mean, this is a stat line that we probably haven't seen at all this year. It's been maybe 13 points, 15 points, 15 points, and then 6, 6, 7, 8, 4, 5. But this has been it was a different week. I mean, this was a different week. We asked Javen about it. What was the message during this bye? And he said it was a little bit of a different message. The feel was different. We got completely back to defense and rebounding, which we kind of got away to in those other games. So I feel like the week leading up to it was a little bit different. This game was a little bit different than we saw. The stats are showing that, but I think it still was the perfect game for the Broncos at this time.
And we're going to have to ask Jay or Jordan or someone to look this up. But Boise State wins this game despite only shooting 40.8%. Maybe one of these defensive games we're talking about the last couple of years, but I can't imagine it's happened too often where they shoot barely 40% from the field and find a way to win. And like I said, that's encouraging moving forward here, that you can win a defensive, game. And the final numbers on the glass, they only won the glass by 2. It didn't feel like they gave up, 7 offensive rebounds, I guess, which led to what they ended up with. I guess only 4 second chance points. But overall, it just felt like like I said, it felt like one of those games, classic Boise State games of the last couple of years.
Yeah, it is. And it felt more of a classic Mountain West game. The last few times that the Broncos have taken the court here in Extra Mile, it's been, 20-point win, 30-point win, and they've just been blowouts. But this is really kind of what Mountain West games are like, a game like this that doesn't have the crazy wild swings like a Colorado State down 17, and then you come back and lose on a last-second shot. Mountain West games, to me, that what I've seen have just these kind of grind-out battles like it was here tonight.
What did you make of neither Dylan Anderson or Chris Lockett Jr. even getting in the game? And Chris Lockett's a guy that has started like 6 or 7 games in a row, and he was out there crunch time against Colorado State, and he can't even sniff the floor for a minute. or a second. Leon said with us, hey, he said tryouts. I said, well, how are you deciding the 9 that you want to play? He said tryouts, but I would, the Anderson one maybe wasn't quite as surprising. He's been in and out of the lineup, but Chris Lockett Jr. has been a main player for them the last 6-7 games, and he doesn't even get out there for a second.
Yeah, and you just don't know what the week of practice was like, what the film breakdown from that Colorado State game and probably some other games as well. And then I'm sure they have a bunch of numbers that back up decisions that they're making that they get. And then also just the week of practice. What was that like? And so, I think everybody knew that the bench was going to get a little bit shorter. But Lockett not getting in the game, Anderson not getting in the game, but Broncos with a nice win.
So they will play Fresno State on Saturday, an afternoon game. Fresno State really struggling, had a chance to beat Wyoming. They should have beat Wyoming last night. They don't foul, give up a late 3 at the buzzer. It goes to overtime, and they lose. And it's been a tough go there for Vance Wahlberg, and first-year coach there at Fresno State. They're 5-16 on the season, 1-9 in league play right now. Their one win is against Air Force, a game Boise State's projected to win by 20 points. So another chance to figure out these rotations and get guys going and continue to, 2 counts as a winning streak in my book. You just a chance for them to keep building off tonight, and you hope for a nice, easy win, but also a win where you continue to build off some of this stuff on Saturday.
Yeah, and I think what I want to see is, of course, a win, but something that I liked in this game was the toughness, was the defense, and you won the rebound battle, but the defensive stops that you needed. We've seen the Broncos, have some leads and then give up a massive run like a Washington State or Colorado State, where they just can't seem to get a stop when their offense isn't clicking either. Tonight, the offense wasn't clicking great, but the defense was, and so that's what won the game for you. And I'd like to see that against Fresno State. Maybe shoot a little better than 40.8%, but I think that defensive in the rebounding is going to be there again.
Well, we appreciate you, Abe. You got to work tomorrow morning and staying up late here, 11:15 on a Wednesday night. So we appreciate you for doing this and your perspective, and Saturday we'll do it again for Fresno State.
That'll be nice. Let's get another win.
Abe Jackson, appreciate him for joining us. Hey, you're watching a free show on YouTube here. We're going to get to some interviews. We got Steve Alford, we got Leon Rice and players. Nathan Carroll going to join us with his perspective as well. But first, here's 30 seconds to thank our sponsors here at Bronco Nation News.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, RovePaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jacksons, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.
All right, we sub in one, Boise State legend for another here, an alum for another, I guess I should say. But Nathan Carroll, you read him at BroncoNationNews.com. He's helping us out here at Bronco Nation News tonight, covering the game. You're going to have a reaction piece sometime tomorrow or in the near future about this one and kind of what it means, big picture here. And there's a couple questions for you in the chat here, and I'm going to save that one for a second, but just your general takeaways from this one. We talked on the pregame show, just obviously, 2 teams fighting for their lives and just really trying to be desperate for a win. And Boise State, I thought, was better defensively and did enough to win the game. What was your take?
Yeah, nail on the head right there. Best defensive performance we've seen in a while for the Broncos. They forced 15 turnovers tonight. by far, you look at all the metrics, Ken Palm has their 4 factors. The worst part of this team had been defensively forcing turnovers. Forcing 15 tonight was massive. And then offensively, being able to get Javen Buchanan going, leading scorer with 19 points. A lot of fans, myself included, have been clamoring for him to get more minutes, be a bigger part of the offense. I think the most impressive part about what he does is his ability to score unassisted, creating his own shots. He had a couple baskets tonight where he's rising up over defenders and scoring really nice one-on-ones. But yeah, you love the defensive intensity tonight. Offense took a little bit of a step back, but I think if you're Leon Rice in this squad, you sacrifice that if it means a 10-point win.
What'd you make of RJ Keene tonight? Does not score in 30 minutes, but has 10 rebounds and assists, 3 steals, plus 8, which was third highest on the team. But he was, we were talking pre-games. I think you were on with me when they announced that he was going to be in the starting lineup, and some people were surprised by that. But I thought Keene came in and had a really nice game, and that's kind of why he's in there. He's not going to score. It doesn't always look pretty, but he contributes a lot of winning plays when you give him extended minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. He was Boise State's second or third best player tonight, in my opinion. He making all sorts of plays. We got a massive Leon Rice fist bump, the biggest we've maybe seen all season.
That was pretty big. Yes.
Yeah.
Did anybody ask him about that? Because I got in there late.
No one asked about that one in particular. But yeah, so RJ Keene was phenomenal. 10 rebounds, 3 steals, and there isn't a stat in the box score for hustle plays, but he would have been double-double on rebounds and hustle plays tonight. Just did all the little things that after the Colorado State loss, Leon Rice specifically said he wants to find guys who are going to show effort, they're going to show intensity, both in terms of rebounding and in terms of defense. RJ Keene provided that tonight. I thought it was his best game as a Bronco. And Leon in postgame made a point to say he recruited RJ as a shooter, right? He didn't bring him here to be a Swiss Army knife guy, to be a high-energy guy. It's a role that he's developed into, and he still believes that RJ Keene's a good shooter and might be able to pick up some shooting later on down the line. But, I was one of the people that questioned moving Keene into the lineup. I hadn't loved a lot of his minutes this year and just felt like, there wasn't a defined role for him when he was in. Tonight was fantastic. Like I said, second or third best player for the Broncos tonight. If you get that type of RJ Keene going forward, I think the Broncos got a lot of wins on the schedule.
I want to hear from Mr. Buchanan here because Nevada was recruiting Javen Buchanan, and I don't remember if he took a visit there or not, but I know that Nevada recruited him, and Steve Alford, who we're going to hear from in a minute, mentioned that they were recruiting him and they knew he was a good player. So I'm curious from Mr. Buchanan in the chat there how close things were, or what they thought about Nevada, and how happy he is, I guess, with how it's played out to this point. But let's see. Todd saying we're going to need the shooting at some point. Going to have to hit some open looks in a big game. Has to knock them down. Jordan says the largest fist pump since the double fist pump at Dave Rice after the buzzer beater. That was right in his face. Yeah, and they turned and did the fist pump. Yep. But Keene's defense is awesome. Shame he isn't much. I do think there is more there. There was one time a coach a couple years ago referred him to me as a more athletic right-handed Justinian Jessup, when he was like a freshman young guy, and obviously it hasn't turned into that kind of a sharp shooting by any means, but they had really high hopes for him. And John says he took a visit, so he did go to Nevada there. So that'd be a little interesting. I don't know if anybody asked him about that post game. But I missed the players because I was over getting Steve Alford. But I thought Buchanan again, I know, Abe says it doesn't matter if you play the first 3 minutes, if you play the other 37 or whatever. I get that, but a little interesting that he's coming off the bench and they give Ugbo kind of a token, 3 minutes and then pull him out. But certainly I think it's, what we said before the game, that Buchanan needs to play more. He proved it again tonight, leading the team with 19 points.
And it's not only the scoring with Buchanan. I think he's Boise State's best wing defender. We saw a really nice block tonight that they called a foul on. The fans weren't happy about that. But his length and athleticism is something that Boise State doesn't have on the wings. Andrew Meadow, RJ Keene, those guys are good defenders, but there's just a little extra length and athleticism that Buchanan provides. I think he really showed it tonight again. I thought he showed it against Colorado State. We get the offense tonight, but what he does defensively, I think, is so important for Boise State. And, in my opinion, he's a guy who needs to be getting 30-plus minutes a night. I know Abe Jackson mentioned it. I think that needs to be your big three going forward. One stat that I had pulled up between Buchanan, Cardenas, and Dagenhart, they had 54 of Boise State's 66 points tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, everything came from those three guys. I don't think is sustainable. No, certainly not. But I think those are the three guys you want to be working most of the offense through going forwards.
And Javen Buchanan was the was at the wrong end of what I thought was just a brutal foul call. He's dribbling, he's going down the court, and I thought that he was the one that the guy kind of pushed him out of the way to get the ball, and then he had a clear block, I thought, after that, and got called for the foul. There was for a quote unquote, solid officiating crew. I didn't think it was the best officiating crew we've had in Boise tonight. It was bad for both sides, but I thought there were certainly a couple calls in the second half, and that one on Javen Buchanan where, again, I thought twice. I thought he got fouled, and then I thought he had the clear block, and then he got called. I thought that there was certainly some interesting calls, I guess.
Yeah,
tonight.
Weird night officiating. I mean, in the first, I think, 2 or 3 minutes of the second half, Nevada was called with 6 fouls already. And
we had to do a double take on that.
Yeah, we looked. I thought that it was wrong. I was like, oh, they miscounted or something. But no, sure enough, 2 minutes into the half, they had 6 fouls and just a lot of touch fouls. I think it's hard to get in a rhythm in that kind of game. So, credit to Boise State for adjusting and and being able to play through that. But yeah, all in all, I think really good win for the Broncos. One stat that I really liked, you mentioned with when's the last time that they shot under 41%, won a game. I went back and looked, and as far as I could tell, the last time Boise State won a game shooting under 41%, last year at home against San Diego State.
Okay.
So it was January 20th of last year, just over a year since they won a game shooting under 41%.
There you go. I don't want to keep you too long, so we'll end. Give us one big picture thought here. Mike wants to know, does 10-0 down the stretch open the door for an at-large? It is way too early to be talking about this. Talk to me when they're 5-0 maybe, and we can start to get excited about it. But just for fun, I guess, if they were to somehow run the table here, as Mike asked, I mean, we saw Bart Torvik had him at 11% coming into the game in terms of an at-large bid, but do they have any shot if they were to somehow win out?
Yeah, I think so. From a lot of the top bracket guys who do this, general consensus coming into conference play was 15-5 puts you in that bubble picture, and 16-4 in conference play gets you a bid. Some of these Mountain West teams have fallen off a little bit, which might hurt some of the quad stuff. But yeah, if Boise State can find a way to win out, I think you're certainly looking at an at-large bid, and maybe feel a little bubbly on Selection Sunday, but I think you're probably on the right side of it. I think even 9-1, you're in talks for an at-large bid. But like you said, at this point, you've got 4 games here you're going to be favored in. Go 4-0 in that stretch, and then you probably have.
You already got one of them. You got 3 left here.
That's true. Yeah. Got to get the next 3, and then at San Diego State is pretty much a must-win. It's Boise State's last remaining Quad 1 opportunity. They've got 2 right now because Clemson moved up to 30th in the net. Being at 30, who knows how long that stays, Quad 1. Just in terms of Selection Sunday process-wise, if Boise State's there on Selection Sunday with only 1 Quad 1 win, at-large bid's going to be a little bit tougher.
As a former student here, what'd you make of the crowd tonight? And I got to say, man, I look over at the students, and I love the students, but they're sitting on their hands for a good chunk of the second half. Like, the game was still in doubt, and we had most of the student section over here sitting down. By the way, congrats to Section 12, who won they had a little fan battle with the students in Section 22 and then Section 12, and I think that was pretty much obvious who was going to win that. But I don't like to come on here and always rip on the fans. I apologize. I just don't understand the sitting down. You come for 2 hours, stand up, make some noise. They were just sitting down for a good chunk of the half. What's your take as a student? I mean, am I crazy for caring about that or getting on them for that? What's the thoughts on the student perspective of coming to these games?
Yeah, so I mean,
maybe I need to get Jaden on to talk, current student, to talk about that as well.
Yeah, so I mean, not even a student. I was the president of the Corral for 2 years, so I've been there. I've seen the challenges of trying to get engagement when you're even leading the student section, and I think it just comes down to right now, Boise State, especially with the students, do not have a basketball culture, right? If you look at a school like Utah State, those student sections. For football season, they're not always packed out. They're not always loud, but for basketball season, they show up. Boise State does a great job during football season. For whatever reason right now, just don't have that basketball culture. And I think the biggest thing that's going to help that is just success, right? Stacking wins, stacking NCAA tournament appearances, and eventually, trying to get a win or go on a run. But even the crowd we saw tonight, this was a better crowd than I would have seen 6 or 7 years ago on a Wednesday night for a Boise State game, even when Boise State was.
It's 8 o'clock. I get it. I know all the excuses.
Yeah, so
but I just looked over and the students were sitting, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah, it's tough. You gotta find a way to build a culture about it. And And I think one of the hard parts with the way ExtraMile set up, the students are kind of spaced out.
I don't like that. The students should be in section 12 down there.
Yeah, I agree.
Or figure something else out. I know you have your more expensive seats on the side. What they should do is make the students have the entire blue. Go Breslin Center style. Give the students the first 5 rows all the way around.
Yeah.
They would never do that because of all the money that's in there on those seats they can sell. But that's what that would be, if you put students all the way around on those 5 rows like they do at Michigan State and some of these places, that would be insane. But you're right. They have the band in the middle and you kind of feel like you're not a part of the other side. And it's way harder to do the cheers and the chants and the free throws and all that. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and since it goes up 3 rows, a lot of students just go up to the second or third deck because they know they want to be able to sit down to watch the game. So, I think the biggest part is just basketball culture, right? You have to find a way to build that up. And, I'm sure Jeremiah Dickey and the Corral are working through some of those challenges. But, yeah, I think if you can find a place here where they're all sat together and they can have like a clear impact on the game, I think you're right. Section 12 might be the spot.
The problem is that's where you have Boise State's bench. You like to usually have the students near the other team's bench or something. So I don't know what you can do. But by the way, there's some comments in here. Heck of a job by the national anthem singer tonight.
Yeah. Koki Gonzalez was phenomenal.
Good job, Koki.
Yeah, he's fantastic singer, and he did a really good job.
And he is associated with one of our sponsors.
Yeah.
Signature Roofing. We'll give them a shout out. He did a tremendous job. I thought that was. He was. He was having fun out there. He's letting some of the notes go and stuff. And I don't know what the proper musical terms are for some of the, but he was. He did a tremendous job, and he is an employee right at Signature Roofing. And then I know you go to church with him, correct?
Yes, correct. Yeah. I go to Capital Church with Koki and know him and his family really well. Great family and
great job, Koki. You did a nice job tonight.
One thing I think would be fun. Obviously, Alvaro Cardenas is from Spain. Koki he's fluent in Spanish. I think it'd be really cool on senior night to get Koki or someone else who can speak Spanish and do like a Spanish national anthem for Alvaro Cardenas.
Oh, there you go.
That was something I lived in Canada briefly. They did that for me, played the Star Spangled Banner for my last game that, got me emotional, got me in the game. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Did you go out and score about 35?
Football game.
Okay.
So we won a, league championship, so about the same.
Hey man, appreciate you for joining us. Great stuff. We'll be looking forward to your reaction piece coming in the near future. Let's hear from Steve Alford, the head coach at Nevada. Then we got Leon Rice. We got some players. We'll start our post-game sound portion of the show. Let's hear from Steve Alford, the Nevada head coach. Starts out talking about Nevada. I did get a couple of questions in about Boise State, and you can tell when the Reno Sportsnet reporter uses the word splintering, talking about the locker room staying together. He uses the word splintering, and right away, Steve Alford wanted no part of the rest of that interview, and it was more stuff happened off camera after the interview. But here's Steve Alford, and an unhappy Steve Alford with the game, and then with the questions after the loss to Boise State here tonight.
It's a hard one. They're a good team. They've had a week to get ready, and I think it showed. We got beat to some 50-50 balls. I liked our energy. Liked our concentration, our toughness. We've still got to take another level there. I thought they bumped us and we turned it over a little bit, especially our bigs. Our bigs had way too many turnovers, and they got some not pick sixes, but they got some get out and go type of shots. I liked our half court defense, but then I think when we bumped them, they were able to handle the ball and keep going. And so we just got to go back. We got to look at that. We got a tough one on Saturday. They just got beat Utah State. So that's going to be a war on Saturday. So we just got to turn our attention there. But there were some positives. Trey's battling a foot injury, so couldn't get him in. So we're battling some guys that are beat up a little bit. So got Brandon back, which was good. I thought he did some good things. So we got him back to where he could get some runs. So we just got to continue to push. But if you can't get to 60, it's hard to win games, especially on the road.
Yeah, you kind of changed the tone a little bit this week and mentioned not focusing so much on results and more so how you get to whatever the result is. Were you satisfied with that tonight, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know if it satisfied, but it was a step in the right direction because I did think we played hard. I thought we played harder tonight. The effort, the energy was better. So now it's understanding it's not just energy and the ability to concentrate, but it's a toughness too. And we got to be able to play through being bumped. We got to play through missing a shot here or there. There's a toughness factor that, if I graded those three things, I thought the energy was good, the concentration was pretty good, the toughness is still lacking, and we've got to get tougher there.
You mentioned pretty good defensive effort in the half court for most of the way. Offensively, though, it still feels like some puzzles to kind of figure out. What are you seeing on that end?
Well, it's hard. We'll have to look at it, but I'm trying to figure out how many open shots we missed, how many layups we missed, some bonus situations at the free throw, 2-shot foul free throws. So those things disrupt a lot of things. So we just got to get back to, getting in a groove from that standpoint. But, other than our guards, I thought handled the ball pretty good under pressure. The bigs, they got to look at it and see, because I think they had 9 of the 15 turnovers, and so we got to look at that, because we got to get the turnovers where it's below 10 again, especially on the road. But there were some good things. TR got back in there and fought. I thought he did some really good things, and Nick battled all night. Hopefully Daniel's fine because he battled and tweaked an ankle. So we just got to get back home and see what we're going to have available for Saturday.
Yeah, specifically on Trey, I guess how long has he been dealing with that? And obviously, how much did it hurt to not have him out there as your defensive stopper?
It just happened in the last game, so over the weekend. So he hadn't practiced all week and wanted to give it a go in the first half and then just couldn't. So hopefully we can get some treatment and get him back for Saturday, hopefully.
You are not one to really ever talk about the officials, but it felt like you were working them a little more than usual in this game. Was there some inconsistencies there from your viewpoint?
No. I wasn't any different than I normally am. If I don't like a call, I let people know about it, and then I tell them the good calls I like too. But we had a tough start to the second half, and that wasn't just all what I would say officiating or anything. I think we didn't come out in the second half and have the same kind of demeanor and toughness that we had in the first half.
Is there any worry about splintering, or do you feel like the guys are still, with each other?
No, they're fine.
Any others? I just have 2 quick ones. What does Buchanan add to their team?
Well, he's good. We recruited him for a while, so we knew how good he is. He's been in my son's league, so he's just very, very talented. He can beat you off the dribble. He can beat you from 3, and he's very good in the post and those type of things. So very, very good. So good player.
And Leon's kind of searching for lineups too. I mean, what do you make just from the opposing side of what Boise State's got going on over there?
Well, it's hard, and they've had a week to kind of work on those things, and they were similar coming into us. I think both teams losing a couple games in a row and those type of things. So, but I thought they played well. I thought both teams did a lot of good things, and they were at home and they were able to get this one. And hopefully, we play better next time we get to see them.
There he is, Steve Alford. He was ready to get out of there. Had kind of the body turned a little bit and was ready to get out of that room. But appreciate him for answering a couple of our questions post-game. Steve Alford, after their loss, it's been a tough go for Nevada. They dropped to 3-7 in Mountain West play, and they've just had a lot of different things go wrong for them. They were projected to win the third place. They were projected to finish third place and win a lot of games this year. Now they're sitting at 11-10, 3-7 in Mountain West play is where Nevada unfortunately is at right now. Okay, let's see here. I want to play from some players and Leon Rice, but also going to tell you real quick about a couple of our great sponsors before we do that. Ropaint.com, our title sponsor, roepaint.com, all your painting needs, whether it's those concrete coatings, interior, exterior, residential painting, commercial, industrial. Hit up our title sponsor. You will not be disappointed. Free consultation, free estimate at ropaint.com. Saw Stan Nicolason tonight from Taco Bell. TacoBellWorks.com, SON Management, the Nicolason family. We appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News. Great food, and they are hiring as well. So if you're looking for a job, you can go into any of their local Treasure Valley Taco Bell locations or check out their website, TacoBellWorks.com. Hey, ICCU, we're going to have Tyson Degenhardt on tomorrow, by the way, 9:30 tomorrow. We will have the Tyson Degenhardt show. John Mallory will join me, and then Tyson's going to jump on about 9:30 as well. So don't miss Tyson Degenhardt live tomorrow at 9:30, courtesy of Idaho Central Credit Union. ICCU.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, one of our great sponsors here at Bronco Nation News. We appreciate their support. And again, Tyson Degenhardt show presented by ICCU, 9:30 tomorrow as part of our 9 a.m. broadcast on Bronco Nation News. The Broncos, unfortunately, don't get to 70 points tonight, so you can't get the Jacksons hot dog and soda deal. But when the Broncos score 70, you get a hot dog and a soda 2 days later at Jacksons. But when you go in there and get that hot dog, don't forget 25 cents from every hot dog sold goes to support the Horseshoe Collective at Boise State. And Boise State, the NIL Collective, got a $100,000 donation from Jacksons for their hot dog profits from last year. So you may not think it adds up, but a hot dog, 25 cents goes to the collective. It goes a long way from our friends at Jacksons. And I hope you guys enjoyed the the hats they were passing out, the net hats tonight, the bucket hats, whatever we're calling them, from our sponsor at Jacksons. Snake River Pool and Spa, the spateam.com, locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa, been around since 1978. If you're looking for a spa, you're looking for a pool table for the game room, maybe a dartboard, you want a sauna, they got you covered. Snake River Pool and Spa. You can go online, view their full inventory, or check out one of their 4 locations, and that is at our friends at Snake River Pool and Spa patio and game. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys what's going on right now before we hear from Leon Rice with our contest for our private jet trip. I'm not going to get into too many details, but one of the people involved with the trip, the sponsor of the trip, people involved with the flight itself, has had some family health issues, and it is just not the right time for folks to be leaving town for this trip. So I sincerely apologize, but the private jet trip is not going to happen this season. We're going to try to find a different time we can make that happen. But sometimes family is obviously way more important, and just the pilot and folks involved in the trip are not able to go, and we are not able to do the trip. So here's what we're going to do instead. We're going to put a package together where Bronco Nation News is going to foot the bill here. It's going to include a $500 gift card to Southwest Airlines. It's going to include 2 nights at Circa Resort and Casino, and it's going to include a gift card for $250 at Barry's Prime Steakhouse at Circa. We are probably going to add to that with some other prizes as well. But at a minimum, you get a $500 gift card to Southwest Airlines to help pay for your trip to Vegas. You get 2 nights at Circa at a mutually agreed date. We just have to make sure it's not a Saturday night where it's $600 a night or something. So a mutually agreeable date that we can make work for 2 nights at Circa. Weekends will probably work. We just have to make sure it's the right weekends. And then you're also going to get a gift card for dinner at Barry's Prime, the steakhouse at Circa. We're going to put the package together, and we're going to give this away next Tuesday while I am in Las Vegas at Circa for the UNLV game, which was supposed to be the trip. And I sincerely apologize. It's not false advertising. Some personal circumstances, like I said, came up with folks involved in the trip. So if any of you purchased a subscription or renewed your subscription only because you wanted to try to win the private jet trip, send me an email and I will refund you your money. And I apologize. Like I said, we advertised this trip and as a reason for folks to sign up. And there may have been some of you that signed up only because of the private jet trip. And if that is 100% the case and you would like a refund, please email me and I will get you a refund pronto. Otherwise, like I said, we're going to give away what we think is still a very good package. Round trip for 2 on Southwest Airlines down to Vegas, 2 nights free at Circa, and we're going to give away a nice steak dinner at Barry's Prime, and that is at whenever you want to go. So you can do that for any weekend you want to take your wife down to Vegas. It does not have to be for a game or for anything. It can be over the summer. It can be in the fall. We'll work out a mutually agreeable date, but it does not have to be for a sporting event in Las Vegas. You can just go down whenever you like. So again, apologize that we can't do the private jet trip. Personal circumstances with our folks involved with the private plane itself. And as I told them, they still wanted to do it. And I said, no, there are way more important things like family and health and then a little trip down to Vegas. So we are going to cancel the trip. We'll do it next year for another game. But again, Southwest gift card, 2 nights at Circa, Barry's Steakhouse dinner. We'll throw in some other stuff as well. And appreciate you guys for your support of Bronco Nation News. And we will give that away again on Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning, we will be live from Circa on game day, getting set for the game Tuesday night. And we will give away the trip then at Circa. And the trip is going to be, as I said, modified a little bit, but we'll make it make it level. And like I said, if you're unhappy and you wanted the refund, we'll hook you up with a refund. Jordan Beasley, best in the business, heading out, folks. All the stats and things you get to the photos, does a tremendous job helping out us media folks that don't know what we're doing. So I always appreciate. Here he is, right here. Look at this guy. He's new. He's doing a great job, tremendous job. We appreciate him for helping us out here, but. That's some serious gambling if they signed up just for the small chance to win the trip. Well, again, I don't know who did or didn't, and so we offered it. So if you subscribed because you wanted to win the trip and you'd like your money back because you feel like it was false advertising, we're happy to accommodate that. Hopefully, folks will just stay with us because they, like the coverage and like being in and want to support us. But we'll still give a trip away on Tuesday that we feel is a pretty good value. So if you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love to have you for $50 at BroncoNationNews.com. And again, and that one of the subscriber benefits is we'll give away the altered modified trip next Tuesday from Circle Las Vegas. Okay, thank you guys for your understanding with that. I'll tell you again tomorrow for those that missed it tonight, but I wanted to get that out there. Jennifer will stay subscribed. Totally worth it. Hope I win. Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate you for saying that. Jordan says sub is as steal as it is. Trip was gravy. Package legit for the tournament. Thank you, Jordan, for saying that as well. Definitely worth it. Appreciate you guys for the kind words. And let's keep the show going here. Javen Buchanan, Alvaro Cardenas, meeting with the media. Again, you may need to turn your volume up a little bit. We didn't have the proper microphone. It was my fault tonight on that. I went over to get Steve Alford and didn't have the proper setup for. So if you want to turn your sound up just a little bit on your phone or your TV, Javen Buchanan on the right, Alvaro Cardenas on the left here on the Jacksons Postgame Show after Boise State's 66-56 win over Nevada.
It was very needed because we haven't been our best defensively. I feel like everybody knows that, and that's what we take pride on. So it was great to see the way we guarded, and we still can get better defensively, and especially defensive rebounding, we weren't great. But I think we did a great job. Then they scored at the end a few more points, but overall great job. And it comes from the 4 practices that we had where we really competed against each other.
How big of a focus was that defensive effort this last week?
Yeah, that's all we were talking about because we knew it wasn't good enough. And games like the one at Utah State where they're shooting like 80% from the field in the second half, or Colorado State, it was just not good enough for our aspirations. So
I know, you got to get everybody else going, but, it felt like you were maybe a bit more aggressive offensively tonight, Alvaro. Is that a spur of the moment thing, or do you think overall this team needs Alvaro Cardenas to score a little more?
Yeah, honestly, I was like, in the first half, I was trying to feel the game out a little bit. But then I realized that I just needed to get a few more paint touches, even if it wasn't to score, but we were just playing around the perimeter a little too much. So my main focus during the game, in the second half especially, was just try to get to the paint and make something happen, whether that's passing the ball or scoring. But yeah, I think I'm shooting the ball with a lot more confidence, and I'm going to continue to do it.
Javen, RJ Keene tonight, just your thoughts on him, how do you play?
He does RJ things every time. Just a junkyard dog. Whatever you want him to do, he's going to do, whether that's getting offensive rebounds, getting on the floor. He's just the glue guy to this team, so he did amazing.
Did you guys know he didn't have a shot attempt all game?
That sounds like him.
I told him a couple
He's
times.
0 for 0.
You got to shoot it, man. Like there's a couple times where he's open and we trust him to shoot the ball. He's a much better shooter than he's shown. So we're going to continue to tell him to shoot the ball when he's open. But like JP said, he's a dog.
He's the first guy in the Leon Rest era, like 15 years now, to play over 25 minutes and not shoot a shot in the game.
That's ridiculous.
How hard is it to impact the game like he did and not even attempt a shot?
But that just shows his character. Like he's the most. How do you say this word? Unselfish guy like I've ever played with. I truly mean it. Like he really does not care about scoring. All he cares about is the team. And he helps us so much, and we're so glad to have him back. And I know breaking his nose was a little setback, but yeah, he played amazing today.
Jim, I talked a couple days ago about just playing more aggressive but not fouling. Just one foul tonight. How do you feel like you did in that aspect?
I did good. I was showing my hands a lot more. It's just more focus with me. It's not anything I can't do, but just focusing on it.
I'm sorry if this was asked, but Nevada didn't score their first field goal for the first 7 minutes and 4 seconds of the game. For what you guys have been focusing on when it comes to defense, how good did that feel to look up and see that?
No, I felt great. I felt like that was one of our best defensive performances of the year. And like we were talking about earlier, that was just our whole focus. These 4 practices that we had, we really competed against each other, and we got better.
Javen, just to build off that, when you look at that, what was the key to the defensive effort tonight?
Just getting back to the basics. We all know we can be a great defensive team, and we are a great defensive team when we actually focus on it. So those practices were all about just getting back to who we were, because we started straying away from that the past couple games. So it's nothing we can't do, and it's nothing that we haven't been doing. It's just something we have to come out and do every night.
What does RJ bring on? We talked about kind of his rebound, but on the defensive side, just kind of what's he bring for that?
Yeah, well, first of all, he had a couple steals that were incredible, just playing with a lot of passion and grit. But I think one of his best traits is He's always in the gaps and always, making guys hesitate when they're trying to drive the ball. And that helps us a lot, and that's something that we all got to learn from him and try to do a little bit more to collapse those spaces. And then the part, like we said, his rebounding, but mainly I think his off-the-ball defense is really good for us.
The substitutions, we were looking at each other. It's like one person had a turnover or something. It was a quick hook tonight. What's that like? First of all, playing most of the minutes, guys coming in and out, and you're running this thing. Is there anything there? And if you both, is that what we're going to see kind of moving forward? This real quick, active substitutions?
I couldn't tell you because I'm not the coach, but it's hard to play and think that if you make one mistake, you're going to come out the game. It's hard to do that as a player. So we're just trying to tell these guys to continue to be confident, and the type of mistakes that they can make are effort-wise, and other mistakes are going to happen because we have a lot of freshmen and people that don't have that much experience. But we trust, when we put a guy on the court, it's because we trust him that he's going to do his job. So for us, whoever's out there, we believe in them and we know they're going to play great.
Alford, you came here obviously for a reason, right? Like you wanted to win games and go to an NCAA tournament. So how do you just kind of approach, like you're halfway through the conference schedule. How do you approach the rest of the way? Yeah,
well, personally, I've got to become a better leader and, just try to help the team get some wins because nobody's going to remember if you don't get wins. But inside the locker room, we all have a strong belief that we're going to get this together and that we're going to turn our season around. And we truly believe that. And, I think we took our first step today towards doing that.
Is it also weird to be in a position like, assuming any of the other years in your career, you probably would have taken 14-7 and 6-4 in league play, and you're saying turn the season around. Like it seems like you got used to the expectations already.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you don't want to look back and think we underachieved, and we all know the talent that this team has, and we don't want to underachieve, and we don't want to live with those regrets. So we're gonna do everything that's in our hands to, do what we can do, and what we can do is not be 6-4 in conference. We're much better than that.
Jay, one more question. Who had the loudest voice amongst the players these last 5 days, ever since you guys stepped off the court the last time? Who do you feel like's had the loudest voice, over these last few days for you guys?
I think our team's special in that way is that it's not one voice, I would say. It's Al, it's Tyson, it's all of our senior I think senior leaders that bring that every day, and then that also encourages the younger guys to also talk, and so I think it's a collective effort.
There's Alvaro Cardenas, Javen Buchanan meeting with the media after Boise State's 66-56 win tonight. We're going to hear from Leon Rice momentarily, but a look at the stats here again. Nevada shoots 40.5%. They're only 6 of 18 from downtown for 33%. Boise State shoots barely much better, 40.8%. The Broncos 8 of 25 from downtown, 32%. So it wasn't exactly an offensive showcase tonight, 66-56 the final, but it just seemed like one of those Boise State games of previous years where they, were able to kind of slug it out and win a lower scoring game. And, we only saw 9 players play tonight. We saw 3 guys get over 30 minutes. Keene got 29 minutes and 41 seconds. So we see, 5 guys over 25 minutes. The minutes were definitely condensed more to certain players tonight. And again, RJ Keene, 10 rebounds, didn't score, but had 3 steals and assists, was +8 tonight. You're probably going to see Keene continue to move forward. I wouldn't mind seeing Javen Buchanan start over Ugbo. Nothing against Emmanuel, but I just think that there's really no point to wait 3 minutes to get Buchanan in the game. Might as well get him out there to start the game. So I like some of the things that Ugbo can bring to the table, but he played 8 minutes tonight. I just think you would just start with Buchanan, in my opinion. But other than that, I'm fine with Keene getting out there and getting some minutes. Bowie got 13 minutes tonight, but a DNP coach's decision, as I say in the NBA, for Chris Lockett Jr. and for Dylan Anderson. Did not get a second out there tonight on the court. Read into that what you will. Well, Leon Rice, I asked him about that. You're going to hear from him momentarily here. But Chris Lockett Jr., who had started the last 6-7 games, doesn't even get out there for a second tonight. I think that is noteworthy. Tyler K saying not sure what to think of Stanley not even getting in the second half. Yeah, 8 minutes for Omar Stanley. And I thought I actually thought he played okay. I mean, I know the 3-pointers didn't go in, but I mean, that shows you that he's confident and he's being aggressive. So I didn't have a huge problem with the couple 3-pointers that he pulled tonight. He's had a tendency to make some of those in the past. And I thought, okay, he must be feeling confident if he's going to let those 3-pointers fly. And they didn't go in, from that standpoint tonight. But overall, I certainly thought that he, they cut it down to 9. It was what it was. And certainly that was, we'll see how this pattern goes into the next game. But I think, for the most part, Keene has showed he deserved to be out there. Some of the other guys did as well. Hey, let's thank a couple more sponsors here, and then let's hear from Leon Rice. How about the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. They got great, Boise State basketball jerseys, all the NIL gear, all the different stuff they have going on there. The blueandorangestore.com. Check them out. And again, we're going to hear from Leon Rice momentarily here. The Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. All your Boise State gear, the Fiesta Bowl gear, the Ashton Genty gear. Hit up one of our major sponsors, the Blue and Orange Store. Hey, I was out at Lithia Ford today, and we saw some of their new NIL deals. They got 3 new football players on deals at Lithia Ford. So check out lithiafordboise.com. We'll have some more details on that. But Cage Casey, Latrell Caples, Roger Carrion, the newest members of the Lithia Ford of Boise family. So when you're looking for that next car or truck purchase, make sure it's the ones that's supporting your favorite athletes, and that's the folks out at Lithia Ford. Hey, Bauscher Real Estate, we got to pick a Bauscher Real Estate player of the game. We'll do that shortly after we hear from Leon Rice. But number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate, BauscherRealEstate.com. All your real estate needs. Hit up Matt and his team. They'll do a tremendous job helping you find or sell that perfect home. Hey, shopridleys.com. Ridley's Family Markets. They got 13 locations in the state of Idaho, surrounding states. Ridley's Family Markets. We appreciate Mark Ridley and his family and their company, Ridley's Family Markets. Shopridleys.com. As I said, download that Skip app. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line at Ridley's Family Markets. Hey, transportation compliance service, transcompservice.com. And again, we're going to hear in about 60 seconds from Leon Rice, his thoughts on the game. Transportation compliance service, TCS. They're a local company helping folks all over the United States. If you're looking to get into the trucking industry, Transportation Compliance Service has the permits and things and paperwork to help you get out there towing that first load in no time. Check them out, Transportation Compliance Service. Hey, Lean Feast Meridian. I'm down 34 pounds, and it's thanks in part to leanfeastmeridian.com. Healthy eating options, all various diets, different steak, shrimp, chicken, fish. leanfeastmeridian.com. We appreciate Dave and company. Check them out online at leanfeastmeridian.com. 5 days in the refrigerator, so you can order online on a Sunday or Monday, and it's good all week. 2 minutes in the microwave, and you're eating some great food from Lean Feast. And I think we have Bob Schuler with a voicemail. I'll see if I can get it put in the system. If not, we'll play it tomorrow morning. But speakpipe.com/BNN. You can leave us a post-game voicemail or leave us a voicemail anytime you want. Speakpipe.com/BNN. That is brought to you by our friends at Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 20 years. Signature Roofing, whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, an inspection, they got you covered. Signature Roofing online at mysignatureroofing.com. Mentioned Leon Rice meeting with the media after the game. Boise State wins at 66-56. Again, might need to turn your volume up just a little bit. Didn't have the mic plugged in properly tonight, but Boise State head coach Leon Rice meeting with the media after the win.
You didn't take a single shot attempt, but he was pretty effective out there. What do you like about his play?
I mean, to have those glue guys that make all the intangible plays, they just have such a value. And, the thing that I want him to understand, I mean, this kid was recruited as a shooter, and he can shoot the ball. So, yeah, there's value to the ball movement that we get, and he's passing up the good shot for the great shot. But I want him, there's going to come time where people don't guard him and because he hasn't shot. But the kid can shoot, so I want him snapping them off with confidence. And yeah, he and I have a saying about that, and I can't say it here, but I want him to play confident because he's doing so many things. It's not like we don't need to play 5-on-4 because offensively because he can score. But he did so many great hustle plays and running down guys and deflections and steals, and he had one of those Ryan Watkins rebounds where we run 30 seconds, miss, get those break a team's back, and he makes that play for us. And he's credited with 10, but he tipped some too. So really, really great effort. And thank you for pointing that out, because, you know, you look at a guy that gets 0 points, and in a game like this, you wouldn't know the story behind the story that, like, he was a crucial factor in us winning that game.
I mean, you bring up Ryan Watkins, it's a pretty big compliment, because that guy was like the ultimate winner for you. It won't go down as this being the case, but it was one of the more unique stat lines in the Leon Rice era. To get half your team's offensive rebounds, 10 total rebounds, three steals, no turnovers. He's the first Bronco you've coached to play over 25 minutes and not attempt a single shot.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How wild is that?
It's crazy, and I probably am going to get on him about it. Like, let it rip a little bit. But, you know, he has a great feel, but he can make shots. I mean, you know, like I said, I recruited him as a shooter. So
is this what your team needed, though? Like, to see
absolutely,
like that?
absolutely. And, you know, Coach Alford's a great coach, and that staff, we have tons of respect for them. They came in with a good game plan. They were going to grind this game, stay close. And I thought our guys did a great job. You know, hey, you know, it was a grind. And then the start of that first half, I thought we did or second half, I thought we did an outstanding job of our penetration was stronger, and we were bouncing it at them a little bit better, and we pinned some fouls on them, you know, and got to the bonus before them. And, you know, that was one of the messages at halftime. And, like, you know, that was because both teams are big and physical and strong, and that's a big team and a really well-coached team that we played, and you had to do stuff to beat them. And I was really proud of the way we approached that start of that second half and then on.
After all the focus on the defense this week, how satisfying was it to see them come out the way they did and just kind of play a full defensive game?
Yeah, and it looked like, I mean, that's what you have to do in league. You know, you look at where we are now, and you know, you don't look back, but it's all about the teams that can get stops down the stretch and get stops when you need them most, and that kind of thing. And that's the different. I mean, the margin in basketball is this much. You know, 3 stops on the last possession, you get 3 more wins, and you have to evolve to get good enough to do that. And we're still working on that. We're still going to get better at it, because there's a lot of guys I played that you're like, okay, he made that mistake tonight, he won't make that again, and he'll learn from it. And because we're playing a lot of inexperienced guys, and they can really help us, and they're learning in the games from mistakes. And, you know, that can be angst moments, because I hate yanking guys in and out that way, you know, but you got to accomplish the mission. It's a 0-sum game. You can't just, like, okay, play through everything, and it's the little things. It's go catch the ball with 2 hands, take care of the ball. They're laying in that, you know, those little things that they're great learners, and they will learn, but that's experience. And, you know, like, hey, we know what play they're running. You guys be locked into it and be out there when they catch it, not out there late. Like, number 11's going to shoot this. We know that, so be out there. And so that's where the experience matters, and we're getting a lot of it, you know, in the fire.
How hard is that to weigh, especially in game, when the guy, you know, Pearson one-hands it and you take him right out, and there was a couple of those, you know, Keene, I think at one point, there's a couple guys in and out quickly, and you want to let them play through it, like you said. You
right, but it's February. I mean, my job is to get the job done out there, and you know, I can't let down those guys that are doing all the right things. And yeah, it's but the thing that I know will work is that those guys are good learners, and they'll, okay, I won't do that again. And those are just the habits that you got to teach young guys. You know, like, if you don't go catch that ball with 1. I mean, that's a mainstay of our program. 2 hands, 2 feet, and especially at that stage of the game when it's, you know, they're kind of desperate and they're going to be laning out. They're going to be, you go catch that thing, possession over position, doesn't matter, and get that done. And you watch, you probably won't do that again.
You obviously started a defensive kind of rebounding type lineup, but I mean, there were a couple of guys that have played for you that didn't get in the game tonight. One that's been starting for you. What's the message, or what's I guess how did you kind of decide which 9 deserve to be out there?
Tryouts, and data, and but the thing that I've told them, the power of our team is our 11. Our 11, not our 11, all the guys in the program, the red shirts, we're all helping. But don't fight us on things. Don't, do what you're supposed to do. Do it at a high level. You get to play. I don't care. Because I love all these guys. This is the greatest group, maybe, top to bottom. They're just so great to be around. They lift me up. They're awesome. And so I tell them, I don't care. I want to play everybody equal if I could, but it's your job to play so good and do the job at practice so well and do the things that we're asking and understand the scouting report, understand what we're in. It's your responsibility to know what we're in right now. So when we change coverages, when we change defenses, when we give a scouting report and say, this guy, we can't let him do this in this situation, they can take it, go out on the floor and do it and get it done. And that, when they do that, they get to play more. And when they, I'm not the decider, they're the decider. That's the thing. And so it's on them, that's what I tell them. And it's gonna change with matchups. It's gonna change with games. It's gonna, go out and play so good that they boo me when I take you out. And then it'll be like, okay, I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. Let's go. Get him out there.
Leon, you were 7 minutes and 3 seconds into the game, and Nevada still only had 1 point. They haven't made a field goal yet.
Yeah.
Considering what your focus was over the weekend, what was it like to see that play?
That was, and that's what I saw in practice. And that's, like I said, when these guys lift me up, they do what, they figured out, and they practice so great, and their energy's so great, and their enthusiasm's so great. And, like I said, that's why, it always pains me, like the human side of me is like, I hate not playing guys, but we picked out the best defensive guys we could pick out, and that's where we started, and look how it ended, it proved its point. So
why was it successful on defense tonight?
We'll cut it there on Leon Rice. We're at 1 hour and 7 minutes here. If you want to hear the rest of Leon Rice on the postgame interview, you can go check that out on our YouTube channel, BroncoNationNews.com. The videos are available on the website, but also YouTube.com/Bronco Nation News. We need to pick a Matt Bauscher player of the game tonight. And you know what? I'm going to give it to, this is such a tough call. It's hard to give RJ Keene the player of the game when he doesn't score, but he certainly impacted the game with 10 points, 3 steals, and assists. I'm going to give it to Javen Buchanan. 30 minutes coming off the bench, 7 of 12 from the field, hits a couple threes, 19 points tonight. I think Javen Buchanan also maybe the most important stat on here is he only had 1 personal foul tonight that ended a streak of 13 straight games with at least 3 fouls. So Javen Buchanan tonight gets our player of the game, our Matt Bauscher player of the game. 30 minutes and 23 seconds, 7 of 12 from the field, 3 of 4 from the foul line, 5 rebounds, only had 1 foul, like I said, 19 points, only 1 turnover, and does have a steal as well. So Javen Buchanan gets our player of the game from Matt Bauscher. And again, Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor for a reason here in the Treasure Valley. Raines family bought and sold our home with Matt. We're very happy and thankful for Matt and his team and what they do for us here at Bronco Nation News. So BauscherRealEstate.com is the website. When you're looking to buy or sell a home, make sure you hit up Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Going to give a quick 30-second thank you to our sponsors. I'll have some final thoughts coming up momentarily. This is the Jacksons Postgame Show here on Bronco Nation News.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, RovePaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jacksons, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.
Well, again, Boise State wins this one 66-56 over Nevada. The Broncos win the game despite shooting just 40.8% from the field. But Alvaro Cardenas, 18 points. 5 assists. He had 17 points for Tyson Degenhart. Both those guys could have been in the mix. RJ Keene as well for the player of the game tonight by the Matt Bauscher, which we went with, as we said, Javen Buchanan. Don't forget, 9 o'clock tomorrow, our morning show, 9 a.m., here in about 9 hours, less than 9 hours. John Mallory will join me, and our man Tyson Degenhart will join us as well as part of the Tyson Degenhart show from ICCU. So join us at 9 a.m. tomorrow for Tyson Degenhart, a live appearance on Bronco Nation News. We'll have John Mallory as well. And Dub says the baseline spin dunk, good enough for Buchanan to win the player of the game. And I agree. That was a nice highlight that we'll play one more time on the way off the air here coming up. But again, final thoughts for me. Nice win for Boise State. Wasn't the prettiest win of all time, but you had really solid defense. You do enough offensively. You get a win over a team that looks like they're just really reeling right now. And they've got some individual talent. Trey Coleman was out with the ankle injury. So I thought that Boise State gets back on the right track, the winning side. The defense was much better tonight. That's a good sign moving forward here. And obviously you hope you can continue it Saturday against Fresno State. Michelle asking about Buchanan not starting. You know what? I know tonight part of it was due to the foul trouble. They were a little worried about him getting into foul trouble early in the game, and also thought maybe he'd come in when some of the other team subs came in and be able to have a little better advantage. But it is what it is. He played 30 minutes. I don't know if it really matters if you play the first 3, if they're going to bring you in 2 minutes into the game. It's kind of a status thing to be starting, but it really doesn't mean much, especially when he still played 30 minutes, had the 3rd highest minutes on the team tonight. So as long as he's in the top 3 or 4 minutes, I don't think whether or not he starts or not really matters. But yeah, does he deserve to start over Ugbo? 100%. Definitely. He should be. But if they want to do 2 minutes and let Ugbo try to play a little defense and get a few rebounds or however they want to do it, I don't have a huge problem with that. Let him come off the bench. It's fine. But 19 points. He's certainly one of the main players, obviously, moving forward. I do think he should be starting, but I don't think it really matters. 17.5 is the spread Grand Tetons has. The Ken Palm number is 20, so the spread may be a little higher than that. Grand Tetons, just letting you know, the Ken Palm number is 20 for that game right now. And again, Boise State projected to win 8 of the 10 remaining games, so still a chance to win a lot of games, get some momentum going into the conference tournament here. And you can't make it a winning streak unless you win the first one. So Boise State gets the win tonight, and they will host our friends from Fresno State on Saturday. That's a 2:00 game, so family, come on out. Should be a nice crowd, nice afternoon, last afternoon game of the year to bring the kiddos out to. Rain's family may make an appearance. We'll see. So that's 2:00 against Fresno State on Saturday, and then they go to Vegas on Tuesday. So a lot of still positive chances, momentum, win some games here moving forward. Still a lot of opportunities to win a lot of games if you're Boise State down the stretch. 8 out of 10, they are favored in a Ken Palm down the stretch here. So you know what? You win the first one, you get some momentum rolling, you see what happens here, and who knows, crazier things have happened for Boise State. So nice win tonight, 66-56 over Nevada. They will play Fresno State on Saturday, and we got our man Cody Gogler making an appearance there. He's working late tonight. I think he was over there writing a press release or doing something. He's working hard here, so we appreciate Cody and Jordan and everybody at Boise State. But again, 66-56, the final. Boise State takes down Nevada, and the Broncos 14-7 overall, now 6-4 in Mountain West play. And we'll see if they can get on a roll against Fresno State. That is coming up on Saturday. So thank you guys for watching the show tonight. Again, join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. Bronco Nation News Live at 9 a.m. And that'll be Boise State. That'll be John Mallory, and then Boise State's Tyson Degenhart joining us on the show as well, courtesy of Idaho Central Credit Union. So we'll see you in 8 hours and 50 minutes on Bronco Nation News at live at 9 a.m. Hope you guys have a good rest of your evening. And I'm going to write a story, so when you wake up, you can read that as well. Plenty of work still to be done here courtside at ExtraMile Arena. The cleanup crew is underway, getting the arena ready for Saturday's game. But again, nice win for the Broncos. We'll see if they can keep it going on Saturday against Fresno. 66-56 the final. Here's one more look at Javen Buchanan's dunk as we send you out of here on the Jacksons Postgame Show from rowpaint.com. Again, my name is BJ Rains. Appreciate you guys for joining us. Thanks to Abe Jackson and Nathan Carroll. You can go back and watch them if you missed any of the show earlier, but appreciate you guys. And we will talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live, bronconationnews.com.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jacksons, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.